Welcome back to another episode of the Offer Hustle. I'm your host, DJ MC, all in three combined. For your favorite cousin, Deona Hustle. Big shout out to Eastside for holding us down. Also, shout out to the shop Cigar Lounge. If you have not been on the KCK side, this is a reason to come over here. Black owned, by the way, might I add. So make sure you come and grab your cigars. I swear, one episode I'm going to do that. I keep saying that. I know. I promise one episode when we hit like 100. Let's put a number on it. When I hit 100, we're going to come in here and we're going to smoke cigars, and I'm going to just do it because it look good. That's all. But I'm back with a very special guest. I am very excited to have her on the show. Look, if I could have her for like hours and hours of conversation, I would. We don't have that much time. But we are going to dive into her journey, all the things that she's done, including making history. First and foremost, she's a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Thank you. You hear it coming through. Columbia and Mizzou School of Law graduate. Got to add that. KC native. And then also the biggest thing that people know right now, she has made history as our Jackson County prosecutor. Please welcome Melesa Johnson.
Thank you so much for having me. It's awesome to be here with my favorite DJ. Hopefully that doesn't offend anybody else, but you know I love me some you. And so I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, please. Make sure you clip that too. Chat, what the young kids be saying, chat, clip that, please. W's in the chat. Okay, so first and foremost, before we dive into your journey of all the things that you've done, I want to start off with an icebreaker.
Let's do it.
And it's real quick. You ain't got to think too much.
Okay.
You're not in the court of law right now. We
You're
chilling.
going to get it raw and unfiltered.
Yes.
All righty, let's do it.
Okay. Coffee or energy drink?
Coffee.
Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Okay. Courtroom or community event?
Community event.
Jury trial or plea negotiation?
Ooh. Jury trial.
Okay. R&B or hip hop and rap?
R&B.
Okay. What decade?
90s, of course. I mean, but
Like,
the 2000s, don't sleep on the 2000s.
Facts. Because I feel like that's when T-Pain had his run. Plies was having a run, right? Was that like
That was 2000s.
Yeah.
That was 2000s.
Yeah, okay. Now, this question, I know you're going to answer it wrong. So I'm going to give you grace. Kansas City barbecue or St. Louis fried rice?
Ooh, now I know me a little something about Chinaman.
Oh, okay.
Rice House, especially.
Okay.
In St. Louis.
Uh-huh.
But I gotta go with Kansas City barbecue. There's only one option. I'm a Kansas City girl.
You're gonna have people in my comments mad because you said St. Louis fried rice. So it's cool. I get it. You gotta do what you gotta do. And one of the questions I had on her, you already mentioned it. I was just gonna say, well, name maybe one of your favorite DJs in Kansas City, but you happen to do that already. So.
I mean, I'm sitting right in front of her glowing face. So.
I appreciate that. Okay, so one has to go. It's a bonus question. Barbecue, Tech 9, Two-Stepping, or the Chiefs?
Oh, my lamb.
Yep, it gets serious on the Offer Hustle.
Tech 9 will never forgive me, but I'm sorry, my dear. Gotta go, Bobby.
Blast. We love you. We really do.
We really do. Love you.
That is a hard pick. I don't know what people pick with that. Like, cause like two-stepping is too much embedded in Kansas City culture.
And I'm good at it. Like I can bust a two-step. I can bust a two-step.
I'm very mediocre. I just met D Barker the other day and she was like, you two-step? I said, all right now, auntie. I can't two-step like you. But I know a couple of, I can make it look.
We got to get you fully immersed. You've been here long enough. We got to get you with the program.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Last question for you on the bonus question side. If you had a hype song, I think I know what this might be. If you had a hype song before you walked into court, what would it be?
Ooh. So if we're talking about of all time, hype song of all time.
Let's know.
Many Men by 50 Cent.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Easy.
That song, it's them beats in the, what is it, like 4 or 5 beats in the beginning before he really just, yeah, I felt bad.
Hard.
And the way he talked on that track, I understand a lot more about that song than I should. All right, so one moment in history that has happened that I always remember, and I feel like it's embedded in Black culture, was Barack Obama wearing his tan suit.
Yes.
And I want you to know, you switching up your hairstyle to the braids was that moment for me.
Oh my goodness.
Like, no, I'm so serious. Like, people on social media was like, yes, Melesa Johnson with the braids. Like, especially you being the first, not the second, not the third, but the first Black female Jackson County prosecutor in Kansas City. You're already making history, and little Black girls are now seeing you in that position. And so now they're also seeing you rock your hairstyle the way, the way we all do.
And that is so important to me. You know, being a first, sometimes you feel like you have to be extra careful, extra safe, extra conservative to ensure that the door remains open for other women of color, for other men of color, you know? But I thought long and hard about it. I'll be honest. Like, it wasn't just who cares? This is my hair. I'll do what I want to do.
Yeah.
It was a deliberation internally and honestly with some people close around me. And I got some mixed opinions, as you could imagine.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's about authenticity. And more people of color, especially women of color, are not going to feel comfortable running for political office if they don't see representation at the highest level. You do not have to shrink yourself to represent your community. Right. You do not have to sacrifice your personality to show up. And my thing is, hey, if the numbers are speaking for itself, as the work is getting done, nobody should care what my hair looks like. People do. But hey, we're showing up and we're doing the work every single day. And so I love when little girls say, I like your hair. Yeah. Your hair is just like mine. Because at the end of the day, Black girls get braids.
Yes.
And while I am the prosecutor, I am still a Black girl from the East Side. Right. And so it's awesome to be able to get to show up as such.
And you still you. I love the authentic piece about it. Unapologetically yourself.
Absolutely.
And when you do that, you can't do no wrong. Now, what led you down the path of law in general?
So at first, like when I was younger, I wanted to be a pharmacist, which sounds very crazy and very distant from what I'm doing right now. Yeah. But as I started to learn more about the civil rights movement and Black history, which I really didn't get my awakening until pretty late in life, you know, I grew up at a time where Black history was not intricately taught in our elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools. You would get Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, maybe little Rosa Parks,
right,
little Harriet Tubman, you know, but that was the full extent. And so as I got older and learned more about Thurgood Marshall and the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, I realized at the pivotal moments where policies needed to be enacted for the advancement of people that looked like me, lawyers were always at the center. We see the images of the protests, you know, the Million Man March, the Poor People's Campaign, those images that are forever etched in our minds. But that was to generate awareness. What happens next? What happens after the protest? Yeah. That's when the policies and the changing of the laws happen to really help us and progress us forward in a sustainable way. So I got the bug and I wanted to become a lawyer because I knew that I wanted to leverage my legal career and my legal education to make people's lives better. And I feel so fortunate that that's exactly what I'm doing right now.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you also spent time previous as the former director of public safety?
Correct, for Mayor Quentin Lucas.
So how was that transition to get that spot and then, of course, make this transition as, you know, making history?
You know, it was a very necessary transition. I didn't know it at the moment. Yeah. So I went from practicing private civil law at a renowned defense firm on the plaza, and I learned from amazing attorneys. But there was always something about the public sector and public service that was always calling me. So Mayor Quentin Lucas ringed me up and asked me if I wanted to join his administration as his first ever director of public safety, where I would not be practicing law. I would be analyzing and interpreting law, but it was more so of an administrative leadership position, which now that I'm in the position that I am, having to learn how to build coalitions, having to learn how to navigate a legislative body and whip votes to get an ordinance or a piece of legislation passed, having to know how to deal with community in a very front-facing way, and also knowing how to deal with other municipal staff was really important, because now I sit at the helm of an office that has 176 people in it, 76 attorneys, legal assistants, investigators.
It's a big team.
Yes, victim advocates. We even have 2 office dogs, right?
I saw that on your page.
Yeah, they're awesome. But the HR stuff that comes along with it, managing a budget, working with legislators to make sure that you can advance all of your priorities, all of the stuff that happens on top of understanding and practicing law. I needed that position, and I'm very grateful and eternally grateful to Mayor Quentin Lucas for giving me that opportunity.
Yeah, and I know the average person, we watch shows like Scandal, we watch the shows where you see people running campaigns. And for us, we can't really see how rigorous it is. I mean, I've seen a couple shows and I'm like, dang, they be doing this. So I feel like I see that it's a lot that goes into it, but it seems like it's a lot that goes into running a successful campaign where you actually get elected. Not just elected, you, of course, making history as the first Black elected prosecutor in Jackson County. When that moment happened, what did that feel like and what did that mean to you?
I mean, not surprisingly, it's kind of hard to memorialize into words. I mean, I was sitting in the back of a combine. Shout out to another Black-owned business, and Alan and Lauren, who are amazing. That's where I had my watch party for my primary election. And I knew that if I cleared the primary, I would be in good position for the general election because Jackson County is a Democratic-leaning county. So I got my lavender 3-piece suit on.
You did the full. See, I talked about the Obama tan suit, but we ain't talked about the looks you threw.
I like a little bit of color. Yeah, I like a pop of color. It looks good on the melanin. It illuminates the melanin.
Make it pop.
So I'm in this back room. I didn't want to be around everybody just because my anxiety was through the roof. And I didn't even want to look at any of the results until the majority of the precincts had been counted. I'm surrounded by my family. I'm surrounded by my friends. And I'll never forget it. I went to go use the restroom down that hall. If you ever been to the combine, you know what hall I'm talking about. I get back from using the restroom and I see one of my really good friends, former 3rd District Councilman Jermaine Reed, crying. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, somebody tell me something. My aunt tells me, Melesa, you need to sit down. And you know that is like going to set you off in a moment of like high stress. They proceeded to tell me, we are trying to organize the logistics of your victory speech.
Wow.
And at that moment, as you can imagine, I just lost it. Because you're right, campaigning is hard, especially when you've been out fundraised 3 to 1. It's extremely hard when people telling you that you're too inexperienced, that you're not ready to wait your turn. And to feel all of that just melt away in a victorious moment. That wasn't necessarily just about me. It was about my team. It was about my mom and my aunt who actually ran my campaign. It was about the people that didn't believe at me at first, but I won them over throughout the process. It was about, the young people that needed to see representation in a space and in a system that was not designed for people that look like us. It just all melted away.
Yeah.
And it was glorious, to say the least. And it's something that will obviously stick with me for the rest of my life.
As it should. I mean, that's a major moment. I remember when I saw it on my end, because I wish I was there at the time. I think I was at an event, but I just saw the headlines going crazy. Everybody was on Instagram like, she won, oh my goodness. So that moment, I mean, of course, you'll never, ever forget that. And Kansas City will never, ever forget that, because now you just started it's crazy that it's 2026. Well, at the time it was not 2026, but it's crazy that just happened.
Yeah, it just happened. And one thing that really kind of puts it in perspective for me that I always think about, I have 2 nephews, a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old. And their auntie is going to be their first Black History Month project.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And it's pretty surreal to think about. And so it's an honor. It's definitely a part of my legacy, but I'm glad that I'm a part of this community's legacy.
Absolutely. And you being a Casey native, I think helps.
Yeah.
Because I know when people have that trust in you because you're from Kansas City. You've seen the ups and the downs. You've seen the nicknames that Kansas City has gotten because of the violence. So for now, you to be able to step in that role and actually contribute, how difficult has it been also to balance knowing what happens to our community specifically with the trust with police or, and knowing that things happen on both sides?
Absolutely. We as a community have to be able to walk and chew gum, especially as Black folks, right? We have to have 2 simultaneous conversations.
Yeah, that's real.
On one hand, we know about how we got here, right? The concentration of poverty, predatory redlining, failing education, public education, specifically in Black communities. All of the things that make a certain people or a certain community more susceptible to crime, even though Black people are not inherently more violent, right? This was by design. This is a result of systemic factors. But then on the other hand, we know better, so we have to start doing better.
That's real.
And that's just that on that. We know that we are the ones tearing our neighborhoods apart. We are the ones dismantling families. We are the ones at disproportionate rates taking fathers and mothers away from their children and putting them in ecosystems where violence has become the norm.
That's real.
And so if we can't have both conversations, which I feel uniquely positioned and situated to do just that because of my upbringing, because I'm a product of the urban core, we're never going to get anywhere as a people. Before we went on air, you and I were kind of talking about these free so-and-so t-shirts, free TJ, free Ray Ray. Right. I don't want to see him anymore.
Yeah.
Because you knew what your family member was up to before it became too late. You knew that they were wreaking havoc not only on their community, but on your family. He always acting up at the family reunion, right? we need to hold each other accountable before the system is called to. Because we know once the system is called to,
it's up and it's stuck.
People of color traditionally get the short end of the stick. Now, I'm trying to change that in a real way and provide more equity in the system under my administration. But real is real. We have to do better while we also dismantle the root causes of crime.
Yeah. On a lighter note, and completely different topics, I recently asked Mayor Q this, and he laughed at me and joked with me. I said, well, do mayors get PTO? And so my question to you is same thing, but how do you navigate your personal life and then also being our Jackson County prosecutor?
Ooh, at the beginning, it was really, really hard because, again, as the first, you feel this immense level of pressure. You have to be perfect. You know, you can never go out. People can never see you with a cocktail in your hands, right?
Right.
Because you're expected to be this persona, not necessarily a person. But as I got more settled, as I got more comfortable, I realized that I already sacrifice a lot to do this job at a high level. I can't sacrifice myself. And so, you know, I get a lot of sleep, more than people think I would get. I hang out with my friends and my family. I will, you know, slide out on the town every now and then. I know I've seen you out a couple of times, especially at Monarch. Shout out to No Request.
Yes, absolutely.
And so, you know, those moments have become more and more important for me because it provides a level of balance. Now, I know sometimes when people see me out, it's almost like they see a ghost. I know I was walking through the Cardi B concert with my detail and everybody's like, what is she doing here? I'm like, bottle after bottle after bottle.
She can't have no fun.
Just like anybody else. And so those moments create a level of balance for me that allow me to still show up every single day and not feel depleted or drained.
I know too what comes with that is a good positive attention, because I know you mentioned that when we were on Hot 103 Jams, that you get some people that say, hey, you doing a good job. You get those aunties out in the grocery store, but then of course comes negative attention from the negative comments. And Brian and I was just talking about this the other day of how there's people that just say whatever.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have an internal battle, at least I do, where I'm like, I don't say nothing to nobody. I'm saying something to this. But then my people, my village is like, girl, why? And I'm like, you're right. I'm not going to say anything. So when it comes to those negative comments, especially, I'm sure there's a lot of racist comments too. How do you navigate those moments?
Ooh, that's getting a little bit easier too. And my director of communications, Jaslyn, will be the first to tell you there have been some days where she sees me going at people in the comments and she has to come to my office and like, give me the phone. Back away from the phone.
Right.
Because we're human and it's hard. And you know how much effort you put into what you produce in your work. And so when people unfairly attack that and criticize that, anybody says they don't take it personal in some way is lying to you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I have gotten better at just ignoring and rising above the fray. I have not gotten to the point where I just don't read the comments. I'm not quite there yet because I do think there is some value in keeping your finger on the pulse of the community so you know how people are feeling about what you're doing. And what you're doing impacts everyday people's lives. And so, you know, it's hard. Sometimes it's easier than others. I know when we announced that we were not criminally charging Officer Blaine Newton, that was a tough period. It really, really was. Because, you know, you expect criticism from some pockets of the community. You know, the super right-wing MAGA, I know I'm not your girl, right? Not surprisingly. But, you know, when you see your people calling you an Uncle Tom, a sellout, and I'm like, you have no idea that I breathe the advancement of people that look like me.
Yeah.
And it's tough. It's tough, but it comes with the gig. We are built to do hard things.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful for the fortitude that the people around me have instilled in me because you can definitely develop thicker skin. I didn't think that you could, but you absolutely can.
You can always get thicker.
Yes.
That's real. Well, I got a fun segment I want to do with you. Okay, it's called Fact or Fiction.
Okay.
So it's kind of quick lightning round. You can think though. You ain't got to be too quick.
Okay.
And you're going to let us know if it's a fact or a fiction. If the victim drops charges, the case automatically goes away.
Fiction.
Because the state can say.
Because sometimes we don't need just the witness. Sometimes we have video evidence. We have corroborating witnesses, especially in cases surrounding domestic violence where we know that that is customary. Honestly, people making a police report initially, but then backing off because it's a very, very complicated decision and process for them to proceed in. We do see that sometimes, but where we have ample evidence to proceed without a victim, our office will absolutely do so.
Got you. 2 more. You can legally defend yourself whenever you feel threatened.
No, false. Everybody hear me. False. First of all, Missouri, you can defend yourself or defend others with lethal force. But that lethal force has to be proportionate to the force that you are facing, right? If somebody is just flipping you off, no, you can't shoot them. If somebody is just staring at you, no, you can't shoot them. If somebody is mouthing off at you, no, you cannot justifiably shoot them. The force has to be proportional to the force that you are facing. And if you are the initial aggressor, you are barred from claiming self-defense or defense of others. So don't go picking fights and then popping off and then crying self-defense later. The law just simply does not work like that.
Okay, last one for fact or fiction.
Okay.
Juveniles cannot be charged as an adult.
Fiction. Depending on the severity of the crime, depending on their past criminal record, depending on their access to resources or their familial structure, there's a host of factors that go into the decision to certify a juvenile as an adult where appropriate. Typically, my office doesn't touch cases involving juveniles unless they've been certified. And again, there's a whole hearing, a whole separate process that a juvenile has to go through in order to be certified as an adult. But once that happens, that's when our office kicks in.
Is there a crime or a list of crimes or whatnot that you feel most? Because when I see people get charged with things, I look at it and be like, oh, I didn't necessarily know that was necessarily a crime, or maybe I didn't really know that it was, I don't know, that they get this many years for a crime. Is this something that you see people constantly do that you just like, y'all, this is not cool? Or you think you might get probation, you might get 20 years. Is there something that has been a common thing people just disregard?
Exhibiting a firearm in an angry or threatening manner.
So flashing a weapon.
People, we call it clutching, right? You're flashing, you're reaching for your waistband. You just have it at your side while you're in an argument. That is a crime called exhibiting that can carry very serious consequences. Another one is Blair's Law, shooting indiscriminately into the air within city limits. We all know what goes down on New Year's Eve, on 4th of July, or even after the family function when everybody's drunk in the backyard playing with their guns. That is now a felony. And depending on what number of offense you are facing, it could carry serious consequences as well. So people might think that these are small, silly things that don't carry any weight. They absolutely do.
Yeah. Please don't be shooting in the air. We just said that on air. Every weekend, every Friday, we say this. We say, have a good weekend and don't be an idiot. And because it's just, I don't know, what comes up must come down, cousins. Like,
common sense.
Use 100% of your brain. Not 50, not 75. Use 100, please.
Please.
But we gonna switch gears and get a little bit lighthearted real quick. Music.
Yes.
So we love to talk music here on the Off-Air Hustle. I love all types of music. It really kind of depends. I have moods where I'm listening to a bunch of Jill Scott, and I got moods where I'm listening to a bunch of Jeezy. I like to diversify my playlist. And then K1, which was mentioned earlier. So what is on Melesa Johnson's musical playlist right now?
I'm like you. I have a pretty wide variety, kind of on a way left field spectrum. I love Chris Stapleton.
Okay, yeah.
I think I'm in love with you by Chris Stapleton.
I didn't expect you to say that because I'm like, wait, is that who I think it is?
Oh my gosh, I love me some Chris Stapleton. But then kind of like in more hip hop R&B era, I love Boss Man D-Lo's new album, Let's Go Get 'Em. That's my morning commute. It is. It's like gets you in that mode. And I used to be an athlete too. And so that kind of pump up vibe.
Track and field, right?
Yes, track and field.
What were you running?
I ran the 100 meter hurdles, the 300 meter hurdles, the 4x1, the 4x4, and the triple jump. 10 Kansas State titles and in the Kansas State Hall of Fame.
So not only can you prosecute, but you can actually get them You can go get them.
I used to.
Okay.
I used to.
You can really go get them.
Father Time has a way of humbling you. But love Boss Man D-Lo, Let's Go Get 'Em. Love this song called In Here by Chameleon. You want to think about, that girl anthem to kind of get you in that mode, which I love. And then, of course, K1. Like that song, Risk It All.
Risk It All,
That sample's Hot in Here by Nelly.
Shout out to Unc.
It is such a vibe, such a vibe. So I like a little bit of everything. And then I do also like to revisit some of my favorite old classics, like Money Ain't a Thing by Jay-Z and Jermaine Dupri. Yeah. That's just one of those ones that still get you in that mode. So I love hip hop, love R&B, love soul. I'm actually going to Essence Fest this weekend, so I get a little bit of George Clinton and Funkadelic, which I'm looking forward to. So
Michelle Obama will be there. I don't know if you'll be there the whole weekend.
No, I won't. I'm only going on Sunday. With me and my mom and my sister are taking a little girls trip.
That'll be fun.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, that should be a fun trip. Now, this is a quick little segment that I've thrown in there the last episodes or so, and it's not like embarrassing. It's not an embarrassing segment. It's being real and raw. So it's called Something I Probably Shouldn't Share. Okay. Now, of course, I don't want the director of communications to come steal the mic. So it doesn't have to be nothing crazy. But I'll give an example and start off. Okay. So for instance, something that embarrassing that I thought when I was younger, I watched What's Glove Got to Do with It? I thought Angela Bassett was Tina Turner.
I mean, fair. Great.
It was
great representation.
As a kid, I was confused. I'm like, if she was getting beat, why would she do it again and reenact it? I was so confused. I was very much lost. So it's lighthearted like that. It's not nothing too crazy, but just maybe, maybe something that you thought or misunderstood, or just something that's like, ooh, I kind of used to listen to this and it's not really, accepted by my friends and family. It can be literally anything.
Okay. I probably shouldn't share that the first ever CD I bought with my own money was 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying. And my parents found out because I was in the basement rapping PIMP at the top of my lungs in the 6th grade. Something else I probably should not share is that I have 2 Marvel tattoos.
Really? Which
I'm
one?
absolutely obsessed. So I have the Avengers A that kind of sits atop Stark Towers. And then I also have the old school SHIELD logo to protect my inner superhero, because I believe I genuinely have one.
I love that.
And then lastly, I probably shouldn't share that the movie The Gremlins caused me to sleep in my parents' bed for the better part of 6 months.
The one that came out in 84?
Yes.
I actually remember this. Oh, wow. I do remember that little thing.
Ooh.
Yeah, I ain't going to show it to you. It's okay. I don't want to.
It's just like I'm getting chills right now. Like I can't take it. But yes, literally had to sleep in my mom's bed for 6 months.
That's crazy. I appreciate you for sharing all of that. See, I appreciate you being vulnerable and transparent on that. When you mentioned Marvel, just throwing this out there, so I still play video games here and there.
Love that.
I just got back into it because I used to as a kid. That was my thing. Play Midnight Club Dub Edition, the car game. That's how I heard my soundtracks. My mom, gospel, Christian, she wasn't playing none of that.
Right.
So I had to get that. I had to outsource. So I was listening to my T.I. through that. But Marvel, I used to love my favorite superhero, and I need to know yours.
Okay.
Is Spider-Man.
Solid choice.
And was it Tobey Maguire?
Yes.
Is that the original?
That was the original.
That's my guy. And then Mary Jane, I love them. They're my people.
And the Green Goblin is a slept-on villain.
Yes, okay? He is. Because
very slept on.
Yeah, he's been giving me hell on the video game. I'm like, damn, man, you won't die.
I struggle with that question, my favorite superhero, a little bit, because I like them all for different reasons, right? Of course. I mean, the obvious choice is the Black Panther. I mean,
that's a good choice, yeah.
It doesn't get much cooler and just deep and just like... I don't know, it gives you goosebumps just thinking about Wakanda and this hidden knowledge and the power that lies within our people. And I could go on and on and on.
Of course.
But, and I'm not saying this because we're on the cusp of 4th of July. Captain America was that dude.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get around it. Anytime they were going into a major battle, who was doing the pep talk? Who were people looking to for direction?
He was the hype man. He was getting people together.
In Endgame, who is at the front of the pack?
Yeah.
Captain America and Black Panther. And I'm going to calm down because I get very nerdy
I love it.
about this topic. But no, I'm so excited for Doomsday, which is coming out in December. December. And it's been a long time coming.
Okay. We in Sagittarius era. Wait, what's your sign?
I am a Libra.
Libra.
Yes.
Okay.
Very balanced. Very zen.
If you weren't the Jackson County prosecutor, I would have called you a Lion Libra. Because that's what people say, but I can't say that, I can't say all of that.
Much appreciated.
Yeah, but that's what I always hear people say that. I know a couple Libras. I never had a problem with, like, great people.
We're great people. We're the first of the last 6 of the zodiacs, and those last 6 are really focused on like community and outward facing instead of solitude and inward facing. So you always can have fun with a Libra.
Yeah, I love that. Beyonce did say the best sign was a Sagittarius, but of course for today's purpose, the best sign is a Libra.
Yes.
You didn't hear that from me. You didn't hear it from me. Well, I do want to thank you for your time. I know people are getting a chance to learn more about you, your history that you've made, you personally. What's something if people are listening for the first time and just like, okay, wow, like I didn't know these things about her, or just in general, what's something that you would want to share with them?
Ooh, that's a really, really good question. I would like to share that the decisions and the cases that are widely criticized in the public, whether praised or criticized, come with a lot of tough conversations, a lot of tough internal and external deliberation, a lot of workshopping decisions amongst multiple attorneys, a lot of prayer, a lot of tears. And so when you see these headlines, when you see these cases, and when you see these decisions coming out of our office, don't think that we take them lightly. Don't think that we view this as just a job.
Yeah.
This is one of the most important functions that a person can serve, and that is advocating for victims, but doing it in a way that upholds equity, justice, and broader community impact. And so, the next time you get behind your keyboard and want to call me Uncle Tom or say that I don't care about Black people, or take a moment and just critically think about how it's so easy to criticize somebody's decisions, although you would never want to walk a day in my shoes.
That was a perfect drop the mic.
Thank you.
That would be such a perfect drop the mic if I didn't have one other question.
Bring it on.
Then I was like, I forgot that this has been a hot topic, and a lot of people are like, I'm sure they're in your comments saying, we need to push tougher punishments on people, or we need to do this to scare people, and all of these things. Since you have been the prosecutor for over a year now, do you find it that tougher punishments actually do impact people committing crimes? Is that a myth? Does that matter?
Back to our earlier segment, it's kind of fact and fiction, right? Of course, just from a common sense perspective, strict punishment hopefully deters others from committing the same thing. And I've heard the rumors on the street, like, this new prosecutor ain't playing. Melesa handing out football numbers, X, Y, and Z. And so for some, that can be a deterrent. But if you look at academic studies and the actual data, lengthy prison sentences do not, by and large, reduce future crime. They don't. Certainty and swiftness of consequences do. And then we also know healthy diversion programs, making sure people get connected to adequate resources so that they don't reoffend and actually can contribute to society. It can't be an either or conversation. It has to be an approach that encompasses all of the above. And so we're never going to shy away from the need for accountability. We're going to absolutely keep handing out football numbers where the law and the evidence supports it. But we're also going to continue to pour into preventative measures as well, making sure we're reaching students, making sure we're connecting people with jobs, mental health, cognitive behavioral therapy,
the resources,
all of the things that actually produce safer communities for the long run.
Yeah. I'm not trying to rush you off as prosecutor, but when the time is over, what do you hope people say about your impact?
Ooh, I hope people say that I was fair, and I hope people see that I really, really care about this community. And sometimes tough love has to be leveraged, but tough love is still love. And I want that to shine through every single decision that we make.